forever. Your feeling is not forever. And I promise that Jesus is there if you are willing to share it with him and let him carry you through it. One of the things I hear most around suicide, whether attempted or completed, is, I had no idea. I had no idea that person was struggling. How could we have known? They're so happy all the time, right? I hear this all the time. How did this happen? Like, how long had this been going on and I didn't know, right? And so one of the things that I want to say to you this morning is that it is common that sometimes people find themselves in a battle with suicide after a long time of depression. But it can also happen in a moment. It can also happen in a day. It's not necessarily that you should have known. Sometimes we are okay until all of a sudden we are not. And people, this is another reason why I feel so passionate about the fact that we have to talk about this. Because the reality is, we talk about mental health so little that there's a chance we're not okay, but because we're not talking about it and because we don't check in on our mental health, we don't know we're not okay. And so I just want to alleviate the burden, like if that's happened with you or someone in your life, it's okay that you didn't see that coming. It's okay that you didn't see that coming. I was really moved by the story of a man named Jared Wilson this week. Jared Wilson grew up in a Christian home. He talks about the fact that his parents gave him extra allowance money if he could recite his Bible verse of the week. Like, he grew up in the church. He was in a happy home growing up. And then when he got to his early teen years, Jared suffered a serious traumatic event in his life. He was a very talented soccer player. Jared played club soccer. All of his teammates, coaches, and his parents absolutely saw him and expected him to play in college, and most of them believed he would be in the MLS. He said himself, I knew I'd go pro in the U.S., definitely not in Europe, because almost nobody can do that, right? Now, at a club soccer game, Jared snapped his ankle, and it was so bad that within an hour, doctors were trying to decide if it would work. And he ran into a friend from back in the day, somebody he had gone to church with a long time ago, somebody that knew him from before he got injured. And that guy asked him if he would go to lunch with him. And so they go to lunch, and Jared was a little hesitant, because he wasn't in the mood, so to speak. But then the guy really, tried to encourage him to come to church with him. Jared hesitantly went to church. He didn't really want to go, but that friend just kept nudging. And so he said, I walked into this room where 2,500 other people who looked like me, who were my age, were praising Jesus. And then I heard a message from the preacher that told me that God cares about all the real stuff that's going on in my life. And so I decided I was going to go back and give it a try. He said shortly after he fell in love with Jesus, he found himself in a small group and he started serving in that church. Over time,